Well, good morning, everybody. It's Leaderslive show, and we're counting down to the show so the various feeds can catch up. And we can't wait for today's show, folks. Groovy show. We're hanging out with customer service excellence specialist Jacky Leonard, and she's my mate. So, and we'll be chatting about the 7 profit-making principles that wow customers. Yeah, so we got all that lot coming in. We're just waiting for the feeds to catch up with us. And so, hi Jacky, how you doing? Give us a quick wave. Say a quick hello.
Hey, how you doing?
There we go.
It's great to be here.
Yeah, great to have you here as well. So and we've got our lovely moderator, Birdine Hugo, who'll keep chipping in, and she'll keep all the interaction going and flowing. Give us a quick hello, Birdine.
Hi everyone. Today, Andrew, I've got a bit of a personality change. It feels like with my voice that's gone, but we'll roll with that today.
We'll roll with that today. We've got Birdine's sexy voice today, so she's in husky mode today. So fantastic. So music by my Uncle Peter, and we were just saying this is the 46th show, folks. 46 shows, live shows, fantastic, and we've all been part of this growing community. That feels really exciting. And morning Jonas, morning Paul, fantastic to see you all. I'll just pop this scene onto here, and I'll just increase the volume just a little bit. So yeah, let us know, folks, if our volume's coming through okay. We hope it is. 46 show, folks, that we've been doing together with you guys. So oi people, it's the Leaderslive showtime, folks. And we are, it's just after 8:45 a.m. in the UK. So we are live with Leaderslive. Morning Zaim, great to see you. So we're streaming out on LinkedIn, folks. We're streaming out on YouTube, Facebook groups. We're streaming out on Twitter, and we think we're kind of streaming out on Twitch, but we haven't got a clue how Twitch works. But we kind of think we're in Twitch somewhere. But so all of that lot's working, and so we think. So ta-da! And if you can't catch us on live, you can catch us on the replay. But if you can't catch us on live or on the replay, then fear not, my friends. We have you covered. Our show's on the podcast too. We're on Anchor FM. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple. We're on Google. So you can listen to us while you're jogging, driving your car, on a train, on a plane, on an automobile. Catch up while you're cooking, ironing. We're so excited about that morning. Morning, Kev. Love the R2D2. Yeah, thanks, Kev. Yeah, lights and all, everything. So brilliant stuff. Where was I? So we're so check us out. If you're regular to Leaderslive, say hello as you're doing already, and just join in with the comments. We'd love to say hello to you and engage with you as well. Remember too, folks, this is an interactive show, so please get involved, join in, ask questions, network with the live community. So you do a lot of back and forth and a bit of friendly banter and stuff like that. All goes a long way. Morning Cecile, great to see you as well. And as I've mentioned, let's just put the side-by-side scene on. As I've mentioned, I've got the lovely Jacky Leonard here today. That's who am I hanging out with. And Jacky is former Coaching Academy colleague, Bangor University Learning and Development Manager, and JL Consultant and Customer Services Specialist. Jacky Leonard, how you doing, Jacky? Great to see you.
There's an introduction. Thanks, Andrew.
Yeah. We're building you up.
So, don't build me up too much. All right?
So we're chatting about the 7 profit-making principles that Jacky's created in her book, which we'll come on to in a moment, this book here, which is called Delivering Authentic Customer Experiences. We Can't Wait. I think that deserves a... Ooh. Ooh. There we go. So how you doing, Jacky? Great to have you on the show.
Yeah, I'm really good. Thanks, Andrew. And it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Hey, you're very welcome. My pleasure indeed. Our pleasure indeed. So, Jacky, tell us a bit about where we're heading today.
Well, I don't think we're going to be able to cover all 7 in detail today, but I'd like to share some tried and tested principles that, when applied, will create a loyal customer base who love what you do and can't wait to steer your friends, your family, your colleagues in your direction.
Brilliant. Okay, so customer excellence is an interesting topic, and we'll be covering the first of 7 principles today. So I think that might even deserve a So Jacky, you've got a couple of questions to ask us, and we'll ask them one at a time. So what's your first question for us, Jacky?
I'd like the audience to think about what's most important to you about your business. Why are you in business? Why do you do what you do? There's millions of types of things that you could be doing with your time.
Yeah.
Why are you doing the business that you're doing? What's important to you about it?
Why do you do what you do, folks? What's the most important thing to you about your business? That's question one, and that'll go in the feed very shortly, so Birdie will pop that in. Now, there's a little bit of a delay in the feed, folks, so as the comments sort of start coming in, we'll come back to those comments in a moment, and I'll come back to you in just a tick as well, Jacky, so I'm just going to put you on hold for a minute.
Sure.
So, thanks. So, as mentioned, Leaderslive, this is an interactive show, folks, so please join in and don't be shy. Use the comments for these questions, engage with us as we're going along in the show. There's going to be a lot of back and forth time, and remember, it's a group conversation. So you know how it goes, folks, and let's just change to bring Birdine in as well. There we go. And during the countdown, I briefly introduced Birdine, our fantastic moderator. So here's a chance to say a little bit more. Birdine, over to you.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Once again, today I read through the scripts of Jacky, and the thing that stood out most is the authenticity behind everything. And you need to be authentic and have your own voice. So I absolutely love that, and that's I'm looking forward to see what is important to you all in your business, and why are you doing what you are doing? What makes it different to any other career that you might have pursued in the past, or so looking forward to that.
Yeah, and talking about having your own voice, Birdine's got that kind of husky voice at this moment in time, which we're really enjoying, folks, and I hope that you enjoy it as you're listening in as well. So Birdine's, we've got the husky version of Birdine today. We're loving it, absolutely loving it. So thanks, Birdine. So quick tease, folks. So Jacky believes customer services is a mindset, attitude, and not a department. And she argues that the most successful organisations are customer-centric, and those that are passionate about making a difference to their teams as well as their clients. And her book, Delivering Authentic Customer Experiences, is the culmination of 25 years' work. We'll be coming back, we'll be drawing from that book today, and we're going to be exploring together, folks, look, what are the 7 principles? And how do we use them to wow our customers? And what does delivering authentic customer experience really mean, as Birdine's just said, for you and your business? And what do you and your brand really stand for? That's going to be interesting. And why does customer services begin internally with you and your team? And what's the difference between an ow, a how, and a wow? I love that line, Jacky. I saw that in Jacky's book and I thought, I can't resist, I've got to use that. So I don't know the answer to any of these, but Jacky does, and she'll tell us all about this today as we're coming along. And we have freebies too, folks. We have freebie giveaways. We'll come back to those at the end of the show. So put them all together, and what have you got? You've got it. You've guessed it. Bibbidi bobbidi boo. Okay, so I see that the chat's coming up, but just before we get there, I just want to quickly introduce some things about what we'd like from this show today. Smash those likes for us, folks. We'd really appreciate that. That keeps us motivated. Please subscribe to the Leaderslive channel for the YouTube community channel. It really helps us to grow this from a fledgling thing to have its own wings and fly on its own. So I really need your help for that. So please do that. And we're trying to aim for our first milestone, folks. So help us along and join in the YouTube channel. Subscribe to that for us. So back to Jacky again. Let's just bring Jacky in. And just before you begin, Jacky, let's just bring up you properly there. I think you might deserve a round of applause. Look at that. Listen to that. Now, for those of you on podcast, there's loads of confetti just pouring out of the screen right now. So Jacky's going to be clearing that up for ages. Yeah, Jacky can't see it, but we can see it. So hope you love the groovy build-up, Jacky. And feel the love, Jacky. Feel the love. So let's start with. So Jacky, you asked the audience a question earlier on. Let's start with those. Birding, what's in the comments? It's been birding back. What we got?
So Paul said, for the service of others. Jack said, to meet new people, help others, and learn new skills.
Yeah.
Carl said, trust.
Yeah.
And then Jack said, completely agree with that. Customer service is a mindset.
Yeah, spot on. And I think in Jacky's book she talks about attitude and stuff. Yeah. Anything else coming up?
Jonas just said that he loves the husky voice. Jonas, next week his voice is gonna be back to normal.
Oh, brilliant. We're feeling the love for Birding's voice right now. Brilliant.
Cecile just said, I'm not running yet, but would be a call of the heart, make a difference in people's lives and make a living out of it.
I like that. That's lovely. Yeah. So Cecile's setting up her business. So thanks, Cecile. Yeah. And I love Jack's comment as well. Completely agree. Customer service is a mindset. And Carl Watkins, I think you said, let's bring this up. Trust. Absolutely. Yeah. And Paul, service for others. And Jack again, to meet people and help others learn new skills. Jack is a really good networker. Actually, I spoke to Jack the other day. So great to see you on the show again. And networking is powerful part of this as well, isn't it? And I wonder what links there are to that with customer services, Jacky.
Well, all those things that have been mentioned perfectly align with who I am and what I believe in. So it should be a good show.
Should be a good show. Fantastic. Okay. So, and then, Carl's just joined in again and said, culture. Interesting. Right. Ooh. So we got some good starters for 10 there. So let's kick us off. You've got a second question for us listening as well, so that we can engage with that while we start the show off.
Sure. So following on from the first one, really, I'd like to know what three, and let's take it to 5, 3 to 5 words.
Ooh, 3 to 5.
Yeah, I know. Generous. Generous this morning. What 3 to 5 words would you like people to associate with your business? So this could be your team, it could be customers, clients, but what 3 to 5 words would you like people to think about when they think about you?
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. And that's now in the chat feed, folks, in the comments feed. So as I said, there's a delay in the feed, so we'll come back to those later. So we'll kick off with our. Let's just start the show off with our first question. So Jacky, whilst we wait for the comments feed to catch up, get us started here. Give us a quick summary of your 7 principles of wowing customers. And do you want the slide up as well?
Show the slide or the infographic. That would be really helpful. I can talk to that then, which would be cool. Yeah. So 7 principles. Yeah. And my belief is it all starts with you. So that's about your values. That's about you and your principles and what you stand for. As I think we're going to cover the first 3 in a little bit more detail, I'll just skim over these first 3. The second principle is about putting people first.
Of course. Yeah.
And that forms my strapline within my logo. So it's about placing customers at the heart of your business. The customers should be your primary focus. And it's all about anticipating what they need. And principle 3 is about delivering on your promises. Yeah. So my belief is that you keep your promises, you're going to keep your customers. Generally, people will leave because you've upset them, frustrated them, annoyed them. You've not delivered what they believe you've said that you said you would. So this is about aligning their expectations with your messages that you're putting out there.
Yeah, I like that line actually. Keep your promises, keep your customers. Great line, Jacky. Brilliant. Yeah.
So the fourth one is about keeping your finger on their pulse. Ooh. So this is making sure that you are understanding and measuring customer priorities. The longer I think that you're in business, the more you tend to believe that you know what your customers want. And I think that's a big mistake, because things change, people's needs, wants, desires change. So and actually your markets might change. So keep your finger on their pulse, know exactly what they want, and continue to measure that as you go.
Yeah, and just before we move on, I just picked up this comment here from Larry. Morning, Larry. Laurie, sorry. Oh my God, say that again. Keep your word. Did you want to say a little bit more about that? Because you mentioned that earlier. So I just wonder whether...
So, the delivering on your promises, I'm guessing that is, Larry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that customer expectations tend to be based on they're based on a variety of different things, including previous expectations. And that's not necessarily just previous experiences of you. That might be previous experiences of other organizations too. So whatever you say, you need to deliver. Otherwise, you create an ow rather than a wow. We'll come on more about that later.
Oh, yeah. We don't want ows. We want wows, right?
We want wows. Yeah.
I love that line. Brilliant. Carry on, Jackie.
So here we go on to 5. 5 is about creating consistent multi or omni-channel experiences, and you can't not do that now. Yeah, we are looking at, years ago, if you were in business, you'd open a shop or you'd have a shop front somewhere on the high street, and away you go. That's not the world we live in anymore. And what COVID has done has created more need for being more creative with our experiences and how we deliver those to the customer. So this is about being where your customer is. So it's, again, no good being creative with the channels if the customer you've identified as your ideal customer isn't on those channels.
Right.
So creating those channels and then making sure that you're delivering consistent messages via those channels.
So social media channels, online channels, websites, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So everything that gets your message out there to the world.
And in fact, that's your shop window. So your shop window is everywhere, right? And you just want your shop window to be where your customers are rather than on a physical high street. Okay, fine. Okay.
I couldn't have principles without this 6th one, which is when you get it wrong, put it right.
Oh,
and this is effectively dealing with customer complaints. Now, let's be frank about this. You will get it wrong. We all get it wrong. Okay, we all get it wrong at some point, and that's okay, providing you hold your hand up to it, you admit it, and you absolutely do your utmost to put it right to the customer's satisfaction. So making sure you have processes in place to do that.
Yeah, and Jackie, when things go wrong, and as you've just said, and they will, right? It's how we deal with those and how we can turn a wrong into a right. I love that. You've got some great lines, Jackie. Yeah. Brilliant. Love that.
You can turn. We'll use the wow now because you like it. You can turn. You can turn an ow into a wow.
Yeah.
It's not a customer service strategy I would recommend. You don't be doing it all the time.
No.
But it is possible. And actually, sometimes when you do that, it makes an even bigger impression.
Yeah. So, and there it is. There's the ow to a wow, right? Which is about when you get it wrong and it's an ow. It's how you then worked with that to make it a wow. And in fact, sometimes conflict. I found there's lots of times, not just in buying and selling, but when something messes up and you put as you've just said, Jackie, you put your hand up, you kind of go, yeah, it's my fault, let me sort it out. Yeah. Actually, more often than not, I found with good people anyway, they will forgive that. And more than that, you strengthen the relationship, because through that hardship, through that difficulty, through that embarrassment almost, is an opportunity to turn that relationship into something deeper, right? Something more authentic.
And there's 2 words you've mentioned there that I truly believe in: this relationships. That's what we're in. We're in relationships with people.
Yeah.
So it's taking time to build those, and the authenticity piece. Be real.
Be real. Yeah. And throughout Jackie's book, she has a sort of subheading called "How to Be Real." Be real, and then she talks about that. And I think that's so right. That practical piece about being real, face it up, and do something about it. Right? Okay.
And the final principle is called "Enjoy the Ride." So this is the principle that success is a journey, not a destination, and that if you're doing something,
Yeah.
especially within a work environment, we work for a long time, and then you're a long time dead. So while you're doing it, you should be doing something you love. I mean, Brian Main says, "Do the thing that makes your heart sing," and I love that. That's a perfect analogy for me. Do the thing that makes your heart sing and enjoy the ride.
I love that expression. I think Mr. Jobs had the same expression. Steve Jobs sort of talked about that as well. What is it that makes your heart sing, and do that.
Yeah.
And Cecile's just setting up a business at the moment, and I just think that's great for you, Cecile. Enjoy the ride, Cecile. It's all the journey. It's not the end, And if you haven't got to the end yet, you're still part of the journey, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Jacky, let's give you a quick break, and we'll come to Birding. What's going on in the comms? It seems like there's a billion things going on in the feed. So, bring us up to speed, Birding.
Yes. Cecile said customer service experience means that we treat customers as we would like to be treated.
Yeah.
Now, can I come in on that one?
Yeah.
Yes, Cecile, I think that's a lovely sentiment. The thing is that suggests that customers are like us, and they're not always like us. So what I would suggest is perhaps a different approach, is to treat customers as they want to be treated.
Oh.
And the only way we can do that is to find out a little bit more about them.
Yeah. There's a very subtle difference with that, isn't there? I mean, the sentiment's spot on from Cecile. Yeah. Thank you, Cecile. Yeah. And I love that bit. It's not just about how we want to be treated, but think about it from put yourself in your customer's shoes and think about it from their perspective. Okay.
It suggests, doesn't it, that customers are like us, and sometimes they're not. That we live in a very diverse world, and they are unlikely to be. And sometimes that can get us into hot water, thinking that the customers are like us. The customers want the same thing as we want. Not necessarily.
I remember one of my bosses when I was a lot younger, and he just said, "I wish we could just have the customers we want, but we can't always do that, Andrew. Sometimes we get the awkward ones as well." He used a different expletive for that, but I can't use that one.
If only they were all like me. No.
Wouldn't it be great? Okay.
God help us.
Oh, yeah. Great. Over to you, Birdine.
Laurie said excellence.
One of the three words, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Paul said his 3 to 5 words are empathy, compassion, honesty, authenticity, and ability.
Oh, Paul comes out with some crackers, doesn't he? He really does. Yeah, thanks, Paul.
Yes.
That's Paul's a paramedic, and which is a real tough job, right? So yeah, the more I see your comments, Paul, the more I kind of reaching into your authenticity there. Yeah, thanks for that.
Jack Wright said helpful, knowledgeable, quality, go above and beyond.
Oh, yeah. Helpful, knowledgeable, quality, go above and beyond. Yeah. What say you, Jacky?
I talk about going the extra mile in the book.
Yeah, you do.
And that's that, isn't it? And the good thing is there generally isn't much traffic in that extra mile. Not everybody's like us. Not everybody wants, to go there and put ourselves out there and have a real good customer focus. So if you can stretch that little bit further, it makes a hell of a difference.
Yeah, because not everybody's on that road, right? You know. Wow, that's really interesting. Yeah, thanks, Jack. Fantastic.
Carl said good communication, trust, good culture, excellent service, and empathy.
Yeah, look at the way he's done that. He's ordered that in a very nice line, hasn't he? How did you do that on LinkedIn? Nice one, Carl.
Cecile said trust, reliability, performance, and goal achievement.
Yeah, I mean, this reliability, trust, and culture and empathy is coming up a lot, isn't it? Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
Sayed said, good morning, Jacky and Andrew.
Hey.
And then Jack said, the best feeling is turning a frustrated customer around to a happy one.
Spot on. Yeah,
Yes.
There's no better joy, is there? What do you reckon, Jacky?
Yeah, well, that's the out to a wow, isn't it?
That's the out to the wow. There you
that's
go.
The out to the wow.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, I could feel a book coming on for that there, Jacky. Oh, by the way, you've got one. There you go. Okay. Oh, brilliant. So there's the 7 principles, folks. So, Jacky, you mentioned, in your book about authenticity is crucial.
Yeah.
And success in this rapidly changing world will belong to those that have a strong sense of self. Tell us more about this, Jacky.
Yeah, well, I think it was Socrates that highlighted the importance of self-awareness.
Know
And
thyself.
know thyself. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So the truth is, whether you like it or not, you have a brand. You have a personal brand as well as a business brand. And if you're a small business, solopreneur, entrepreneur, whatever you want to call yourself, micro, macro, SME, that brand is likely to be who you are, what you're all about, your values. I like to call it brand you.
Love that.
So whoever you are, whatever you stand for, whatever you believe in, what your culture, your values are, that will overlap into the culture of the company. And more so if you're a very strong leader or if you're in a SME.
Yeah.
So it's about who you are. It's about what you're for, I suppose. That's the easiest. I'll tell you a story. A friend of mine years ago told me about her little boy, and he works in the city now, and he's tall and handsome and smart, whatever. But when he was very little, he obviously was very smart then too, because if Mel ever introduced him to someone, he'd ask people a question that sort of made their eyes go round. You're an NLP practitioner. Made their eyes go round in their head, Andrew, looking for the answer. So, and the question was that you'd go, oh, this is Matt, this is Andrew, and he'd look up and he'd go, what are you for? Not what? Not. I'm sure he didn't understand how profound that question was, but it's not profound. Who you are, how are you, anything like that. It's what do you stand for? What's your purpose? What's the point of view, more or less? That's what he was asking. And that's the deeper question, I think, that we need to ask ourselves as business owners. What are we for? What do we really want? What's important to you? And what's important to you as a business owner and therefore to your business? Yeah. So whenever a customer comes in contact with any part or any aspect of your business, you're going to be judged. Yeah, so get over it. That's the truth of it. You're going to be judged. So your brand has to be consistent, compelling, and congruent with who you are and what you're offering and how you actually want to do business. I think it was a 17th century bishop, Joseph Hall. He said, a reputation once broken may possibly be repaired, but the world will always keep their eyes on the spot where the crack was.
Oh.
So, I mean, it's happened recently, hasn't it? Look at the Oscars.
Yeah, the slap.
Shouldn't bring it up, should I? Yeah. But that isn't going to go away.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, indeed.
And that will have hurt Will Smith's brand desperately.
Yeah, interesting. And I'm thinking about a past thing. I wonder whether all of us will remember this. Do you remember the jewellery brand? Was it Ratner's?
Ratner's, yeah. They know.
Yeah, he basically said his stuff was tosh, wasn't it? That was it.
Yeah, tack, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, rubber tack, yeah.
Tack, yeah. And that completely ruined his brand and actually ruined him as well, right?
Yeah. So I think it's about, understanding what's your why.
Yeah.
What's your why, and thinking about a sustainability legacy. And that doesn't mean, that doesn't matter whether you are, you're an entrepreneur and you want a quick exit route or whether you're in a family business. It's about what do you want to leave behind?
Yeah, and I like that piece about consistent, compelling and congruent were 3 C's you just used there. I really like that. Very interesting. Yeah, and just before I forget, morning Sarah Hughes is on the line as well, and she's about brand you as well. Morning Andrew, Jacky and Bertie. Greetings from, where's that? Is that Functional? I don't know where that is. I'd love to know where that is. Also, how to pronounce it. I haven't got a clue. Jacky, do you know how to pronounce that?
I have no idea. I can give me a Welsh name. If it had a double L and a double D in it, I'd be okay.
Morning, Sarah. Great to have you on the show. So, let's just give you a quick break for a minute. What's going on in the chat? Let's just catch up with the folks joining in.
So Cecile said we all are customers in some point, but yes, I agree. Thanks.
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
And
we
then,
are all a customer at some point. Yeah, I never
yeah,
thought about it like that. Nice one, Cecile. You're on it this morning. Yeah.
Paul said to thine own self be true.
Oh, yeah, very
Yeah.
scriptural, very nice. Very good.
And
I bet
then
there's a Latin phrase for that.
Carolyn asked, is it just me or has the live gone offline?
Oh, has the live gone offline? No, we're still live. Are we still live, folks? Can someone tell us whether we're still live? Well, our countdown's still going, so please let us know if we're still live. So
I'm still live.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're still live.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Well, mine says that I have got a black screen. Birdine, what have you got?
Just refreshing now, just to double check.
We're just checking, folks, to see whether we're still online. Oh, Jonas says yes, we are. Thank God for that. Phew.
Okay.
Caroline, we hope that you're still with us. There might be a delay in the feed or something, but it sounds like we're still on. So hopefully we're still on.
Andrew, I think that deserves more confetti.
Oh yeah, and it needs a. It needs one of those. Whoa, we're still live.
Yay!
Fantastic. Okay, let's get back on to stuff then. So, brilliant. Yes, we're back. Fantastic, Caroline. Brilliant to have you back. Great. Okay, you worried us there for a minute. So where were we? Let's bring up another question, shall we? So, So your second principle, Jacky, put people first, I seem to remember. Tell us more about the process of meeting customer needs and why does this begin internally with your team first, before we even get to the customer? Tell us a bit more about that, Jacky. What's going on there?
Well, one of your listeners just mentioned that, the rural customers, and actually you have three customers. So it's you were the first customer. Yeah, you are your first customer. If you're not treating yourself with some respect and dignity and empathy, then you can't. We tend to treat people as we treat ourselves, don't we? And sometimes we treat people better than we treat ourselves. But it starts here, starts within. Then it's about your team. They're your next customer. If you don't treat your team with respect, then they are unlikely to treat your customer with that respect. Okay, so how you treat people, that's likely to just cascade down to the customer or the end user. And that's the last customer, isn't it? The client, the customer, the end user, the person who buys your services or your products. So attitudes really count. And my recommendation would always be, whenever possible, and in some professions it's not, but whenever possible, appoint for attitude and train for skills. Okay, because as we said before, customer service is not a department or a job title. It's an attitude, and it has to be demonstrated by everyone in the company.
Exactly, and that's how you get to your customers. So everybody's treating the customer, with respect, because that's part of your culture and your value system too, internally, right? Okay.
Yeah. You can't have a list of values, can you, Andrew? And that's often what happens in organisations is you get a board sitting and creating values that cascading down and not being delivered. And that's because values start at the service end, at the sharp end. That's the values are what you do, how you behave, how you act and respond to people.
Yeah, and it's more than just values on a wall, isn't it? Words on a wall. And I know a lot of people put them there. But this is intrinsic, isn't it? This is about how you as the boss filter that culture down to everybody else, and culture starts with you as the business owner, right? That's really
very much about walking your talk. If you're not treating them in a respectful, dignified way, they are not going to treat the customers that way. You're the role model for the organisation.
Yeah, dignity starts with you then, doesn't it? And I think, seem to remember a line in your book, another great line, hire for attitude and train for skills, right, Jacky?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, good line that, yeah. And, you mentioned customer service superstars. What does that mean? Tell us more about that, Jacky. Customer service superstars. Ooh.
Yeah, it's a lovely word, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
it is.
they're champions of your customer service experience. So these are the people that have a genuine desire to support, to serve, to make a difference. And it's particularly important in service industries.
Yeah.
So these people would share your values. They're passionate about people. Yeah. They're a tonic to be around. So they are your radiators, not drains.
Ooh.
You'll see that in the book as well. Okay.
Yeah.
This is continuum, I think, isn't it? And we all sit along the continuum somewhere. On the one end, you've got the radiators who are a joy to be around, who are warm, who are friendly, who are kind, who are empathetic. And on the other end, you've got your drains, who frankly are toxic and will suck the living daylights out of you if you're with them for too long. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think that any of us sit at the real extreme ends of that continuum.
No.
We all have bad days, okay? So we'll all gravitate to one end or the other. But it's about really being aware of what you want to be.
Being aware of what you want to be. That's
and
the
then,
brand as well, right?
Yeah, and then coming to work, being that person, behaving in that way, and it's a practice, Andrew. It doesn't come. Some days it doesn't come easily. So, but it's about being. I'm going to use the quote. Was it Gandhi? Be the change you want the world to be.
Oh.
So it's about behaving that way. So these are solution-based thinkers, your superstars. They work proactively and they try to anticipate customer needs.
Yeah, I read somewhere the other day that the difference between wisdom and smartness. So wisdom comes with knowing what you don't want and being wise about that. But smart people, they know what they want, what they really, really want. Quoting the song for a minute. And that's what you've just said, isn't it? If you know what you know what you want. You are your brand. You are your career. You're thinking about what it is that you want every day. And how you want to portray your values, how you want to portray your authenticity. Well, not even portray, how you are authentic, not portray at all. Just being that person, not behind a mask, but being the real person.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And you know what? It's hard, isn't it? Sometimes to get up, and be the best you can be. Yeah. But I think it is a daily practice. And I think it was Pete Thompson told me this quote once, and he said, "Amateurs practice till they get it right. Professionals practice till they can't get it wrong."
God, that's so good, isn't it? I'm just thinking about golf for a moment. You don't get better at golf unless you're really
I think it was golf his analogy came from, but I think it works, doesn't it, for anything that you want to do well.
That's beautiful. Repeat that phrase again for us, just so that we all get
Amateurs practice till they get it right. Yeah. Professionals practice till they can't get it wrong.
That's just so profound, isn't it? Wow. Jacky, we're going to give you a break for a minute. Birdie, what's going on in the chat? It looks like there's oodles going on, so let's just catch up with everybody.
Okay, we just had a bit of a going back and forth of the live is still on and everything is
thanks, folks. Scared us all for a minute.
Yes. Jonas said, I have a question to Jacky, and I just want to scroll down because the rest of the message is there. I have a company where I consult on advanced bionics with a special focus on exoskeletons. The problem I'm finding myself in is the fact that most people do not know what an exoskeleton is.
Yeah, okay. I think I do. However, I get why they would.
Same here.
So, is the question how do you educate people? Is that the question?
Probably, yeah. How do you get that out there? An exoskeleton, folks, is something that helps people to, lots of reasons why to, but essentially for those that are finding difficulty in walking, then an exoskeleton can really help. But it can also use to lift heavy weights and do work-related stuff as well. But I think Jonas is coming from a disability point of view, and seeing exoskeletons as a way forward. And I think he's just trying to understand how to get that message out there. I
think the first thing is to know who your customers are, because actually it doesn't matter if the rest of the world doesn't know what an exoskeleton is, it is important that your customer does. So whoever you want to buy the product, they know. Also, any other stakeholders that are involved in the business. So that could be sponsors, that could be suppliers, that could be other people you want to collaborate with. So it's making sure that they understand that. Check out the SAVE model of marketing. Because the E in SAVE stands for education, and that's really replaced the promotion in 7Ps for service industries. So if you are looking to get information across to people, try and educate them about it. So rather than direct selling, give them information. They used to call it advertorials, but I don't even like that either. So give people information in a variety of different ways to try and educate them about what the benefits of your service or your product are. But
educate
direct it at your ideal customer. Identify the customer avatar, whatever you want to call it. Avatar, who is this customer persona? Who is it? Paint as elaborate and specific a picture of you can about who that person is, and then it will be easier for you to talk to them.
And Jonas, Sarah Hughes is on the line, and she is a marketeer extraordinaire, so I would suggest you two hook up with each other. So I'll set that up after the show, folks. So if Sarah's still on, then that might be a useful contact for you, Jonas. So what else, Berdine? Thanks, Jonas. What else?
Carl said mutual respect is vitally important to both customers and colleagues.
There it is there. Mutual respect. Back to that again. Mutual respect, trust. It's the whole thing about this. You mentioned this earlier. You didn't say this word, but one I wrote down was this sort of customer services role models. These are the superstars, right? Your role models are those that model what Carl's just said. Right. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Jack said, I am the same person in work and out of work. My values are the same, so therefore no need to be any different.
I get that, because I'm the same as that, Jack. Different people have different ways of some people have work personas and some people have home personas, and they get changed between the two and wear different clothes and stuff like that. But I get you completely. I'm the same person in or out of work, but everyone's different, right? But spot on, Jack. Anything you want to say to that, Jackie?
I agree. I think the thing is that it's easier, isn't it? If you're what did we used to call it years ago related to computers, WYSIWYGs, wasn't it? What you see is what you get.
What you see is what you get. There you go, folks. That's about your brand. Love that. That's an old word, isn't it?
It is. So it's easier if that's the case. But what we do know when we profile people's personality is that generally what we will find that we do is we naturally will adapt to different situations anyway. So if you are dealing with change, whether that's personally or professionally, we tend to think about, it will be, well, what do people expect? What behavior do people expect of us? Should we conform to that? So there's always that interplay going on in an internal dialogue in our own heads. But yes, if actually you're very cool about what you are and you're very comfortable in your own skin, some will like you, some won't, but so what? That's the Chelsea mindset. SW3. Like some will, some won't, so what?
Yeah, indeed. And that reminded me of something, actually, this whole expected behaviour thing. I just want to pick up on that. One of the things that's really powerful here within organisations, and I do this a lot, facilitating this kind of stuff, is what I do professionally with my customers, is talk to them about, use a team charter approach to work out what are the behaviours that you really need based on your values. And how do those values then work out in your habits and your behaviours, and in terms of what you want and what you don't want as well? What's a good behaviour and what would be an exemplar of good behaviour and what would be not. And just working that through as a leadership team is really powerful, actually. And everybody joins in because we're all related to the customer in some way or another. So
and I think the thing is when you do try and engage, whether that's with colleagues or customers, engage with them before the decision's being made. We aren't stupid. Right? We all know when people are trying to pull the wool over our eyes and pay lip service to something. So if you really want to find out what the customer wants or what your staff, your team wants, engage with them first, because they're at the sharp end. They're delivering this stuff all the time. They probably know this stuff better than you. So, really trust them and get the ideas on board.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, like that. And Caroline just says this, I love that. Be the change that you want to be. Yeah, Gandhi was absolutely spot on with that, wasn't he? Yeah. So, Jacky, talk to us about your third principle. Deliver on your promises. And we're going to come back to this difference between an ow and a how and a wow here as well, I'm guessing. Take it away for us.
Yeah, okay. So customer expectations are based on previous experiences, either with you or with other services like you. They're based on how you communicate your promise, your service promise to the customer. And that could be through a variety of different materials, everything from physical materials, like a pamphlet or a leaflet or a book, right through to all the the trappings of your office or whatever, right through to how you present yourself online in whatever medium you use. So that's where the expectations come from. So when people engage with your service or buy your product, they are thinking about those things. What is this? Yeah, and it could be that you inadvertently promised, or it could be that you're deliberately promising. What has this organization promised me? Now, if they believe that you haven't met their expectations, so these are my expectations, these are what you told me I get, you haven't met them, they'll get an ow, right? It's a miserable moment, okay? They will remember it for all the wrong reasons, and this is probably why the Australians call us whinging poms. We will tell as many people as we can, regardless of whether they want to know or not, right? We will stop people in the street and tell them how bad an experience we've had. Yeah. So we want to avoid an ow.
So we want to avoid that then, right?
Yeah, okay. It's a big
The quack hoops, isn't it?
Yeah. Now the next one is interesting, because the next one's a how, and this is how I expect the experience to be, okay, or the product to be. So this, if I get this, if it's just how I expect it to be, this is a neutral experience which is easily forgotten. Right. So again, this is okay. All right. And if you've got service standards within your organization, this is what the minimum. This is the minimum bar that you're setting yourself. A how is the minimum you want the customer to experience.
Okay.
A wow. Right. So a wow is what we're aiming for. A wow is magic. Right. It's what my Auntie Jill would say, oh, Jack, it's fabulous, right? It's fabulous. And it's when you go the extra mile and you exceed customers' expectations. So now you're giving them something they didn't expect. And they will remember that for all the right reasons. They will tell other people. They'll probably tell less people than the ow, sadly, but they will share that good experience. Now, it's worth remembering that today's wow will be tomorrow's how.
Oh.
Okay. So if you wowed me today, tomorrow I'm going to expect that from you. Okay, I'm going to expect the same level of service. So delivering exceptional service is a journey of continual improvement.
Yeah, I love that. So today's wow is tomorrow's how. Yeah. So just this continuous improvement piece. I'm just thinking about sports for a minute, and back to perhaps Olympic cycling, for example. And they brought in this whole piece about continuous improvement, didn't they? Little marginal gains. Marginal gains. Yeah, and that's how to keep that wow process going. That what was the wow 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago needs to be even more better next time. I know that's not grammatically correct, but I just love it. Okay.
And it doesn't need to be massive things. It doesn't.
Little things.
It can be little things done consistently.
Yeah, little things done consistently, folks. Berdine, what's going on in the chat? Just bring us up to speed. There's a couple of comments, I think.
Janice asked, he said, how do I get people to understand the value of the product when they don't understand the technology in the first place? So that's the question he wanted to ask.
Yeah, I think Jacky, I thought we covered that when we said, this is about educating that audience. This is a new product that you're talking about, Jonas, and not many people understand it yet. And that's all about the awareness and blog writing and getting people involved with it and getting excited about it and seeing the possibilities, perhaps. Jacky, have you got anything more to add to that?
Yeah, it's exactly that. So first of all, knowing your customer and being very clear about who they are, what they want, and then promoting the benefits of your product. So we often talk about features of what it is, and nobody wants to know what the features are.
No.
Yeah. but still, when things are promoted to us or sold to us, when they tell us about the features, that it's red and it's this and it's that. So what? So when you write copy, I suppose, ask yourself, when you write a statement or you write a piece of sales copy, ask yourself, so what? So, and think about writing about the benefits rather than the features.
Yeah, and think about the wows as well. How can you wow this and get attention? Okay, thank you. Berdine.
Jack said, I recently spoke to a person who has a personal and professional personality, and they said it was exhausting. I can only imagine.
Jack,
it should be exhausting.
Yeah, I love that actually. And there's something it's worthwhile just exploring just a little bit before we move on. But that comment, I agree. And it's almost like the old world, isn't it? And excuse me for being provocative for a moment, but that feels like that was the old way of doing stuff, where we had ourselves at home who were our real selves, and we didn't show our real selves at work because we weren't allowed to, right? In today's world, that's the piece that's changed. I think that's the bit that you're really talking about, Jacky, is that we've got to be the real person we are and show up as the person you really are, because that's the bit that matters, right, Jacky?
Yeah. And it can take some time, Andrew, because it does mean you have to be comfortable with who you are. You have to be comfortable in your own skin. You have to like who you are and what you do. Because otherwise there's this sense of a need for pretense. Because that's what it is, and it is exhausting.
Totally, I'm with Jack all the way. I think that's wise comments coming from a young man. So fantastic. Berdine.
Laurie said this doesn't just apply to customers. Good approach for employees as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, brilliant.
Paul went along and said some very powerful concepts and messages this morning. Love it.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul. He's a darling. Thanks, Paul.
Audrey said maybe better to show what value customer will get from your product, not just features and benefits.
That's spot on. What does it do for you in the wider sense? Okay.
And align that with who they are. And again, when you are clear about your customer persona, you can do that. You can align it with their values.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Jacky.
Okay. Then Carolyn said, little things done consistently. There's something said about hearing or experiencing the same thing 7 times. I think it is when it makes the most impression and we don't forget. I can't remember where it came from, probably my NLP training.
Yeah, there is an NLP line that says that convincers can come in packages of 6 or 7 or 8 or whatever, and there's all sorts of moot points about whether it's 3 or whether it's 6 or whether it's 10, but essentially some people take longer to be convinced, and that's why our message has to be authentic, right, Jacky?
It's that rhythm of 3, isn't it? I always think about when I'm delivering learning interventions is tell them what I'm going to tell them, and then tell them what I've told them.
Yeah. Ta-da! Brilliant. Yeah, these old human things work really well. And yeah, I think there is an NLP thing there, Caroline. And Audris just says, agree. There we go. Right. Fantastic. So listen, we're coming to a point where we could go on forever. And we always say this, but, so as we said earlier, we've only had time to cover 3 important principles of your 7 principles today. So I guess we've all got to go and grab a copy of your book, right, and read the rest. Now, just to show off that I've actually got mine. No. So, but we'll come on to that in a moment. But for now, give us a summary, Jacky. Give us a summary of your top tips of what we've covered so far, just as reminders for us.
Well, rather than give you a list of tips, let me sum it up like this, Andrew. I think
sum it up, yeah.
Good business is relational, not transactional. Ooh. It's not about B2B or B2C. It's about P2P. It's about people to people. That's the businesses we're in.
Yeah.
So even in this world that's increasingly digital by default, your human interactions are an important differentiator in your business success. Yeah, let's not forget that. Yeah, it's still about people to people. Yeah. And I suppose the one last thing is you're serving the customer, not a life sentence, so enjoy the ride.
Yes, it's not a life sentence, enjoy the ride. And this principle of digital by default, that's a really important part that Jacky explores in her book as well. And part of that is about the shop window. We used to have a physical shop window. We no longer have that. So the digital by default is really a powerful thing that we must get our heads around, which is all part of our generational stuff right now, right, Jacky?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
And I suppose we're, as if you look at it generationally, it was from the millennials, I think, that started to be termed digital natives.
Yeah.
So every generation since that, they're going to be more so,
I completely agree. I spoke to someone the other day that was working in Airbnb somewhere in a different country, and he just said, "Well, I've just taken off, and I'm just traveling the world and doing my work from wherever I am. Digital nomad." Yeah. Fantastic. That's a whole new expression, isn't it?
Yeah. Have laptop, will travel.
Yeah, absolutely, totally. Yeah. Birdie, just finish off with a comment so that we can then move on to the freebie.
We've got Caroline saying, I've really enjoyed this, thank you. Audrey said golden rule P2P. Yeah. And then he said, I do like that.
Good lad. Yeah, I like that.
He said, you made my day, thank you.
Hey, there you go, Jacky, you've made his day. Namaste to you. Yeah, brilliant, thank you. Okay, super duper. So, Jacky, tell us about your freebie giveaway today.
Okay, so books, signed copies. There you go. So the first 3 people that respond, yes, please send me a book, in the comments field, can grab a free signed copy. So, and I'll sort out DM on LinkedIn for addresses and things later. But yeah, just write, yes, free book, please, or yes, send me a free book in the direct. On the first 3, we'll get a book.
There you go. On your marks, get set, go. Fantastic. Thank you. Brilliant. And we'll sort out with DM a bit later. Thanks, Jacky. No, I hope you found that useful, folks. I know of you have. So thanks, Jack. You said amazing live, Andrew, Jacky, and Birdie. So knowledgeable a topic I'm very passionate about. Thank you. Yeah, please send me a book. Jonas got a book. Laurie's got a book. Oh, you've got a few more. You've got at least 5 there. So I'll leave you to negotiate that one, Jacky. But there she is. Yeah, she's saying that's okay. So well done for you guys. Okay, good stuff. So that'll all get sorted out. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Thanks again, Jacky, for enlightening us today. We've loved having you on the show. Love this show. And it'll be available on podcast next 48 hours as well, folks. And there's a replay straight away after this as well. So remember to subscribe to us on YouTube. And Birdie will put the links in the comments again for you to subscribe. That'll be really helpful. Thank you. Now, before I get on to what's going on next week, a word on what's the purpose and the why with Leaderslive. And you know what, folks, it all starts with the idea and the passion that you are more than you think. We are all more than we think. And Jacky's been an exemplar of that just in today's session. And we are building a community of like-minded folks together, folks. We're doing this with all of us here. And this is particularly relevant to building back better businesses and building back better people for us. For this last 2 years, if it's meant something, we've got to really focus on our people, right? And our motto here is I to the power of we. So Leaderslive is a freely available, edutaining expression of this. Anyone can join in and enjoy taking part in extraordinary conversations, just like we had this morning with the fantastic Jacky. And look, through these simple ideas, we aim to make a difference and to make the world better too, folks. And we want to bring a spirit of freedom and a spirit of joy and fun through the feel-good factor in all of our working lives. And that starts with this show. That's the reason why we put this on. So it makes us feel good during the day, and it gives us some inspiration and smart thinking. So in terms of what I do, just commercially, just so you've got an idea of the stuff that I do, you can book me for speaking events and hosting events. I facilitate top teams in strategy processes and team charters and all sorts of things like that. I develop high-performing teams. I've got some online programs for that. I'm a fully qualified executive coach. And if you are an owner of your own company and you're at a CEO level, then we have I'm a co-founder of a thing called Inspired CEOs, where we help to inspire you as CEOs to think and play a bigger game. So all of that lot is the stuff that I do commercially. Please contact me if you want to have any more information on that. So what's the goose for next week, folks? Let me just bring back the goose for next week is on Tuesday, the 12th of April at 8:45 UK time. I'll be hanging out with my friend, fellow co-founder and board chair of Inspired CEOs, Charles McLaughlin. And our topic will be how to celebrate our failures. We all love a great underdog, right? And, underdog come hero story. But Charles argues that in our fast-paced performance culture, sets us all up for many failures in many ways, both personal and business related, and some are very painful learnings. So how can we embrace our failures to see them as opportunities for growth instead? So this is a frank discussion. Charles talks about his own personal failures as well, to help us to recognise the power of failure to enable success and guide us and deal with devastating failures and how to recover from these. So I think that deserves a ooh. So I think that's a be there or be square, folks. So we're just going to wrap up today and just say you can enjoy bopping out to this music. And for those of you on podcast, there's loads of gold and silver confetti coming out of nowhere. We're going to be clearing up this for ages. So great to hang out with you guys today online. Thanks very much for being part of this show. And great to start to get this community vibe going. And we can't do this without you, folks. So the podcast will come out shortly too, as I've mentioned. And in the meantime, that's a wrap, folks. So from Jacky, from Birding and I, we wish you a great weekend, a great week ahead, and you can bop along to this intro music. Cheers for now. See you all again, folks.
Bye.
Cheers now. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.